All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So let me start off by saying those of you guys who were waiting for me to make this video on Saturday or Sunday, I do apologize. I got sick and I wasn't able to make the videos. I was really hurting, not just externally, but internally and stuff like that. Um, so I do apologize. So I hope that this hasn't caused any issues for you and things like that. If so, I do apologize. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the objective today, we're examining how the Pavlov experiment works. Some of you guys may know about this, some of you guys may not. If you don't, awesome, you're going to learn today. We're going to analyze how algorithms are used by social media and search engines. Remember, search engines are like Google and things like that. Okay, those are search engines, those aren't websites. And we're creating an argument on whether having a legal advertising disclaimer is it still lying? Okay. So uh there's your warm-up picture. I know it's kind of blurry for some reason on this, but it came out really good on your guys' worksheet. But if you can't read it, it says, okay, I confess no one was sharing cat pictures until we hacked the algorithm to stop cute puppies always showing at the top. So my question is this: what is this artist trying to say about us and what we look at online? You know. So think to yourself this question too: is what we see random? When it comes to ads and things like that, the you know when the websites pop up first and second, third, is that by random? What do you think? So think about it. Write your response because we're moving on in three, two, one. Now, Ivan Pavlov. This guy did this thing called the Pavlov Experiment. It's a pretty interesting experiment, and you can do this. You really can. Basically, he realized that if he connects a sound to a stimuli, and in this case, what he did it to is it's a dog, and the dog, its stimuli, the thing that really got it going was food. And once he realized that the sound to a stimuli, the dog will salivate. The dog will be like, "Where's the food? Where's the food?" And so he repeated this process many times. He'd basically ring a bell and then give the dog the food. Okay. Now, after so long, and again, the thing with this experiment, it has to be consistent. You can't be like, I'm gonna do it one day and I'll not do it another day and I'll do it another day. No, it has to be every day consistently and things like that. So he did that for a while. Rang the bell, gave the food. Rang the bell, give the food. Okay. So once condition was set to where he noticed, like, hey, this dog was as soon as he sees that bell about to ring, he's ready for that food. Um, Once condition was set, he rang the bell and there was no food. The dog was just like salivating. It was like, "Where's the food? Where's the food?" Bell equals food. Where's the food? You know, the dog just was, you know, flabbergasted. Where's the food at? This is known in psychology as classical conditioning. It's a process that involves creating an association between a natural existing stimuli and a previous neutral one. So the neutral one was the bell. So when you ring a bell, the dog was like, at the beginning, was like, okay, whoop, whoop, you ring a bell. And then the natural existence stimuli was the thing they wanted, which was the food. Okay. So in simpler terms, it's a type of learning that happens unconsciously, where you can actually train somebody or something to respond to a certain way by basically associating sound, time, whatever it may be, to something that they want, whether it's food, playing a game, whatever it may be. Okay. Now, algorithms. This is a process or a set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem solving operations, especially by a computer. So it's basically like a software, and it takes all type of data information that's given to it, and it gives you the ratio, probability, things like that. And I mean, it does this in nanoseconds. Okay. Now, social media algorithms, they use several demographics to select the best ad it thinks that you, the user, might be interested in. So it takes all the information it's learned about you and says, you know what? There's a high probability, like 70 some percent, that this person is going to want to know about these types of shoes, this type of blouse, or this movie about to come out, things like that. Most apps and websites use information gathered, and that's what they use in the algorithms. They use gathers from your likes, your posts, recommendations, suggestions, purchases, searches, hashtags, what you follow, who you follow, and keywords used. All that information they have, and they basically say, this is what we think you would like or would want to buy or are thinking about, things like that. Now I've heard it for years. Students saying the government's listening to my phone. That's how they know all this stuff. The government's doing all this and that. No, guys, they're not. They don't have to. They really don't. Why? Because you give them permission to accept when you to know all this stuff when you accept those terms and conditions. If you really read it, break it down, some of that, um, it says on there what they can do. And a lot of times they can sell your information to a third party if the terms and conditions says that they can do that and if you accept it. Okay. Now, a student some years ago tried to tell me, like, well, if you don't accept the terms and conditions, you can't use the software, you can't use the app, you can't use it. I'm like, yeah, exactly. And they know this. They know, especially you guys being so young, you're gonna want the newest thing in social media, which is like TikTok and things like that. They know you're gonna want it, so they can put the terms as they want. And if you accept them, great. If you don't, well, that's your loss. You know, they're not gonna cry over one person. They got millions of other people just signing up, clicking that terms and agreement without really reading it. And I forgot to mention this in the last one, but the third party thing means this: you're the first party, the user. The second party is the company, the ones providing the software platform, however you want to say it. And third party is basically anyone else. Anyone and everyone else is considered third party. Okay. Now, when you link up your Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Google, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Reddit, all that stuff, you're just helping them, fill in the gaps about you. So if you link up your YouTube and your TikTok, you're letting them see, like, hey, this person really watches these videos, and they watch these types of videos on TikTok. So now they have a better understanding of who you are and what you like. Now they have a better profile on you. Now, I just had some students in class tell me the same thing other students in previous classes have told me, like, oh, well, I have a dummy account. So if they try to do that, I'll just look at this and that. Guys, that's all tied in. They know who you are. They know because, again, your IP address, okay, your phone number, your email, all that stuff, it's all connected, okay? All that stuff is connected. So try to say, oh, like, oh, I would go here, I would do this, I would do that. Guys, they've already thought about that. You try to be clever, you try to be smart. They've already thought about that stuff. Okay, so they know who you are. So that whole notion of, oh, the government's listening to me, that's why they, no, it's because you think you're being smart, but are they already figured it out? So yeah, no. Now, most of the terms and agreements say basically you release your rights to the information you share. Photos you post, videos you post, all that stuff, you're giving your rights away to that company. Basically, you're saying, when I'm using this to as a platform, you guys can have this image and video and stuff like that. So if a company uses your images, like you say, there's a picture of you and your friends drinking some sodas. If that soda company wants to use that picture for an ad, they can. They can pay um, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whoever money, and then they get to use the picture. And you can't sue them. You can't say, well, You can't use a picture of me because it's no, you signed the terms of agreement. You gave that image of yourself away to this company and they sold it to this other company. Then you get nothing. Okay. Now, I've had some students in the past tell me the same thing. Well, I would just delete all my pictures and delete all my accounts. Good, good. You can do that. You have the right to do that. Even says in the terms agreement, you have the right to delete your profile. But again, all the information, pictures, videos gathered, that's theirs. Okay. It belongs to them. Now, if you try to say, like, well, I would just delete all the stuff off my hard drive and things like that, all the pictures, delete them from the uh, profile and on my hard drive. Great. Guess what? It's already saved. Anything you post online, guys, it's already saved. There are internet hubs around the world. There's one we know of specifically in Oslo that stores all your guys' information. Anything shared on the internet, it's stored there. Okay. No one company owns it. Okay. Google doesn't own it, Facebook, whatever. They don't own it. It's just a stored area. And let's say Google and them want to use something from the past, they can go to that place and then they would then have all that stuff for them. So that's only one that we know of. I wouldn't doubt there's a heck of a lot more servers and servers stored up with data from years ago till now. Okay. So be careful what you post because, again, future generations could then look you up and be like, yeah, why'd you post this thing saying some racist stuff back when you were 12 years old? And that it's happened nowadays to celebrities and people like that. So you got to be careful. Okay. So here are some frequently asked questions I've had over the years. One of them is this from a student. They said, I heard that commercials have to tell the truth. Is that true? And believe it or not, yes, they do. By law, they do have to tell the truth. But this is where some of them spend a lot of money on advertisements and lawyers and things like that because they work really hard to basically tell the truth, but kind of bend it at the same time. Because you have to remember, the government does not review the ads; they just let them go. And then if there's an issue, that's where you can take them to court and stuff like that. But again, they do these little things, and if you notice on the commercials, usually the small print and things like that that they kind of hide, you know, these are the legal advertisement disclaimers. So, like you see several times over, they say, "Oh, if you drink this, you will lose like 80 pounds" and things like that. But if you look at the small print, it'll tell you results may vary, results not typical, for you know, so it may have worked for that person, but there's a chance it may not work for you. Okay, so if you try to say like, "Oh, I took this and I didn't lose any weight, I actually gained weight," I'm gonna sue you. You can't because you may try, but it's not gonna work. You try to say, "Well, the commercial said I would lose this much pounds. I would lose like 80 pounds." Just like that person on that picture said. And again, they'll say right there, look, so the results not typical. Results may vary. I'll put in the white lettering in the like in a beige background saying, you know, the tip this does not really work for if you skip a meal, it won't work for you, la la la, or you deviate from the plan. So there's a lot of things that they put on there that um, you don't see, you don't hear. And that's on purpose because, again, they want you to use the product. See, like, oh my God, this stuff works. Look what happened to this lady. And then you do it and nothing works. But there are some government programs to try to protect you and save you, like the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. It works really hard in trying to prevent advertisement from hurting you, giving you false information, things like that. Then there's like the CDC, Center for Disease Control. They make sure that medicines you take are good. Same thing with the FDA, that these medicines and things like that, surgeries and all that stuff are okay, all right for you, because again, they're looking after your health. Okay. The last thing I hear quite a bit is what's the difference between a commercial and an infomercial? Because some students tell me like I'm up at like 3 in the morning and I turn on the TV and all these ads are on there basically for like half an hour and they're like repeating themselves. It's like, yeah, that's infomercials. Typically half an hour long, maybe even more, and they demonstrate how their product is so much better and things like that, and how much it's going to change your life. And again, if you really look at it, it's kind of like, do you really need that? You know, some products are actually pretty cool. Some of them are no, not too good at all. You know, so it just depends on you. They're trying to convince you to buy their product. Now, here's my question to you. Do you think classical conditioning will or would work on everything? So, again, look back at Pavlov's experiment. Listen to that if you don't understand it. And tell me, do you think that will work on everything and everyone? Whether it's pets, people, whatever. Do you think that would work on everything and everyone? Okay. So think about it, write your response, okay? Because that's it for this lesson. So hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you enjoyed it. With that being said, guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later, okay?